Hello, hello, hello! We're back in Stranded Deep to check out the map editor as promised. So, before when we looked at this, I wasn't entirely sure how this worked. However, doing a little bit of research and a little bit, mostly just of fiddling around with it, I have figured out a great deal. So, essentially, you create your map here, and you can go into it and edit it, which we looked at before. You can add objects in, you can add terrain in, you can fiddle with it around and that sort of thing. So to showcase that for you guys a little bit more. So the world right now is separated into squares. And these squares are not rendered in until you kind of pass the threshold and such. This is kind of the threshold, this little red area. So if you're outside of this right now, it doesn't quite render at all. It just shows up as that kind of generic island in the distance. And what you do then here is you're editing this square inside of the map. So you can do things with the terrain. You can, let's see, raise and lower. This is actually quite fun. Whoa, holy cow. Let's see. Let's lower this amount. Okay, there we go. So let's just start fresh, shall we? Oh, interesting. So I'm not able to go up for some reason. But at any rate, size. There we go. That's what we didn't want. And so what you can do is edit it. You can raise and lower stuff. You can add objects, rocks, that sort of thing. And when you're done, you can save it and then add it in. So I had one that I made earlier, just kind of like a tester, that we're going to look at. So we go into my game, and this right here, this is the world right now, at least in experimental. I haven't tried going outside of this kind of area, but based on the horizon, you don't really see any islands when you get to the edge. So my guess is that this is all you get, and that the rest out here is just kind of like a void. So on stable, as far as I know, I haven't played stable in a while, but on stable, it's a procedurally generated world. Like Minecraft, there's no end, but right now in experimental, they've limited it to this kind of grid pattern. And these little squares represent those little areas I was saying before, to where when you pass that threshold and it renders in, and you can actually then explore that little area. Then you move to the next one, and then to the next one, and so forth. So here, this is where I added my test map right here. I'm fairly certain, although not positive, I haven't done extensive testing, but I'm pretty certain that you spawn near the center right now. That's why it's red and such. And so what I did is I spawned in and I took my raft and started checking the various islands around to see if I could find my tester island, because I wasn't really sure before exactly how it worked. And what I found is that yes, indeed, these different squares, like right here, that actually have terrain, those are the various islands that we see in game. And so all I had to do was visit each one until I found mine. And there's only about 7 or 8, so that wasn't too difficult. So I ended up going from here kind of to this pattern, and then finally made a loop around and found mine. So to confirm that, if we go into continue game, I was right on the edge. I was kind of like right here. And I didn't do much in map editor. I basically just made kind of like a mountain so that I could see it as soon as the square area rendered in. I wanted to make sure that I would know that I was by my map and such. Okay, now run in. See, and it renders. And that's, yeah, that's my monstrosity that I made. I just made like a big mountain. But, alright, so here we are. This was the little island I had made during the last video. At least part of it. I didn't make the mountain or anything. But I remember I dropped a bunch of items here. Like a shipwreck and stuff, just to kind of to see if it worked and such. So I'm going to see if I can find those. They came out with a hot fix a couple days ago. Oh yeah, there's the raft and stuff I dropped. Just a quick little hotfix for experimental, just to address a couple bugs that were going on and such. They've addressed the lighting too. They've decreased the lighting, which it was a bit intense before, so I'm kind of glad that they did that. It was a bit of an issue. Another thing that they did is they increased your jump height and your speed, so it's actually quite noticeable. The speed is a lot nicer. I like it. I felt it was a bit too slow before. They also have modified the crafting a little bit more to where when you deselect an item, like if you don't want to place it, the materials will no longer just drop in front of you, which is nice because that was a little bit annoying. This is kind of interesting. There actually doesn't seem to be a climbing inhibitor at all. I just kind of climbed up the side of the mountain very easily. But this is pretty cool. I just wanted to kind of see. This is the highest that you could raise it, as far as I know. So I just want to see what it looked like. Which is kind of neat. I mean, you can see all the islands. So yeah, everyone, just wanted to kind of show you really quickly how Save Editor works. You edit your map, which is one square. Then you go to your world. You drag that map into the world somewhere. I would recommend putting it somewhere close to the middle so that you can find it easier. And then once you spawn in, it's just a matter of taking your raft and finding which side of your spawn point it's on. And then you can add in items, you can check them out and such. You can do crazy things with the landscape like this, but that's the best way to find your island, is just to kind of put it around the middle. So we're actually going to test to see if we take fall damage. We definitely do. So that is Save Editor. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next installment.